on the Mustangs Sports Network. From Learfield, this is the Hilltop Hoop Show, presented by the SMU Cox School of Business, with head coaches Andy Enfield and Toy L. Wilson. And now, live from Ozona Grill and Bar on Greenville Avenue, here is your host, Rich Phillips.
Good evening and welcome to another week of Hilltop Hoops. Thanks for those joining us on the SMU Mustangs Facebook page and all of you joining us here tonight at Ozona Grill and Bar, week number 2 of our show this season. And we do welcome up here to start things off, as we do each week, head coach for the SMU women's basketball team, Toya Wilson. How are you?
Good. I'm great.
Just sitting here talking, and it seems like forever since you played.
It has been forever.
It has been.
Seems like it, but yeah, it's been great. At least, ending a break on a win is better than ending it on a loss.
Absolutely. Ending it on 3 straight wins. Women up to 8-5. A week ago, Thursday, the 19th, 74-66 win at North Texas. And then Friday, the 20th, 73-52 against Chicago State. You finish up 8-4 in conference play, and now you only got 17 more ACC games to go.
Yeah,
That's
exciting.
Huh?
That's it. Long way.
It is. Well, let's look back at those games from a week and a half ago. Start off with the Thursday game at North Texas. I mean, he started out hot. I think it was 22-11 after the first quarter, 38-21 at halftime. TK Pitts and Nia Robertson really got you going in that game, didn't
Yeah,
they?
for sure. I mean, TK came out hot, aggressive, hitting shots, taking it off the dribble. It was really nice to see us go on a road game because, we had told the girls UNT hadn't lost a game at home, and so we wanted to break that streak, and they were focused. I mean, their warm-up was really focused. I was watching it from the tunnel, and I thought we just had a different type of focus for that game.
Can you get that read, do you think, just from warm-ups like that a lot?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get that feel, with our kids. I know their personalities. I know how they see the ball going in. If the guards see the ball going in, the posts are doing great around the rim. I think they get that confidence and they get that feel like, yeah, we're right where we need to be.
UNT did rally back. I believe they tied it up with about 4:42 to play. What did they do that changed things in the second half of that game?
I mean, they press, and that's what they do. They kind of play with a different type of urgency. They were pushing the ball in transition. We weren't getting back in transition defense. So, we knew they were going to get a little run of their own. The game was about runs. And so just glad and happy about how our girls handle that kind of adversity and when a team does make a run when we're up big. And so we knew that was going to happen. We just had to make a run of our own. And
you did. Jessica Peterson had a big and one for you, and then defense kind of did it too. I think we had 3 straight stops down the stretch there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Donavia came in, had some really good blocks in the game. But yeah, Jess, that rebound put back, that was huge with the and one. And so, our girls are going through different things, and it's really nice to see them kind of grow through different types of adversities and different types of things that are happening in the game. So really just happy for them and proud of them. And this group is really, really special. They really love competing and practice. They love each other. They're really connected. They have that chemistry. And we're growing. I mean, we're really seeing them grow these last few games.
Jessica had a 21 rebound game, I believe, earlier this season. Only 19 against North Texas, which I believe is tied for 3rd in school history at 13 points. Obviously, just massive play you've had from her this year.
Yeah, I mean, with rebounding, that comes with heart. That's nothing with skill, but that's heart, technique. That's a want-to, a will-to. Rebounding out of your area is very hard to do, and for Jess to be able to do that off a year where she redshirted last year is unbelievable. What she's doing, and that goes unstated, like, what she's doing is unbelievable. She gets 19. She's like, Coach, I want to get 25. I told my dad, I bet my dad I want to get 25 rebounds. She asked me to put it back in Chicago State, and I was like, no, we're up. You don't need to go back in. But, no, she wants to go out there and get 20 rebounds a game, and she's where I know what I'm going to get with Jess.
And the good news is it's not just her. Shante had 10 in that game, and I think you were plus 13 against North Texas. It's still, while you've got one way up, a collective group effort, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're top, I don't even know, in the country. Jess is 3rd in the country in rebounding, but we're top in the country, top 10 in offensive rebounding. Everybody knows that, but it's about stopping it. And so, that's nice to know when we're not hitting shots and stuff. We get some offensive rebound putbacks. So just really proud of the girls, how they really, really owned into committing to being that's one of our want to be known for is our rebounding.
Yeah, second in the ACC, 12th in the nation in rebounding, and offensive rebounding, first and 11th.
That's unbelievable.
That's great.
Yeah.
Also, another big game, obviously, from Nia Robertson once again with her fifth 20-point game of the season. She just keeps lighting it up for you.
Yeah, we know, we're telling Nia, pick your spots. She's a great offensive player. She has people around her that she can play with that she can distribute and get her. I'm waiting for her to get a triple-double. I need some assists, some rebounds, and the scoring is going to come. But now she has to understand, and she's growing from this, is that she has people around her that can score also, and that it'll make her game easier where she doesn't have to do everything. And so she's learning that. She's growing. She's watching film. She's being very coachable. So I'm excited about now her transitioning to the ACC and that growth.
And then a week ago, Friday, was the second game up there at North Texas. Chicago State team that is struggling. You beat them 73-52. Had to be important, though, for your girls to come back on back-to-back days and play like that.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't do much. We kind of went over them that night after the North Texas game, and they were hungry they haven't won a game this season, so we knew they were going to be just desperate to play, and we played okay in spurts. I think, it's hard when the Christmas break is coming and the holiday break, and you want the girls looking ahead to getting on flights and going home, and so you got to keep them kind of in the now and their 10 toes and everything to where they are, be where your feet are. And so I thought we played okay in spurts, but we could have played a little better. But we won the game. They had a good holiday break. Now it's on to ACC, and where every game is going to be competitive. It's going to be a grind. It's going to be runs. It's going to be a lot. And so the girls are really focused during this Christmas break. I thought we had 3 or 4 great days of practice so far. They had off yesterday. Now we have 3 days until we play Stanford.
How much time off overall did they get for the holiday?
5 days. Yeah. So,
okay.
That's a good break. And to be honest with you, they came back and they weren't even rusted. To me, they weren't. I missed now the 26th practice. My flight was canceled back from home. There's storms here, so my assistant coaches handled practice. But I felt like they weren't very rusty. They really kind of, to me, the first day I was back, I thought they looked really good. And so I was really impressed. And again, that's that growth. It's that maturity that this team brings.
Our segment each week with Toya Wilson is brought to you by Ozona Grill and Bar here on Greenville Avenue with the best patio in town and happy hour from 4 to 7 every Sunday through Friday. Specials including free chips and salsa. Ozona Grill and Bar, find your comfort zone. You already played one conference game. Non-conference, you finish up 8-4, 6-1 at home in the non-conference portion. Did you achieve things you wanted to here in the non-conference schedule?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to go undefeated at home out of conference, but we set up the schedule again to be very competitive for us to get ready for the ACC. And to be honest, I think our girls play really well at home, and so I'm excited to see our team playing in the ACC the first season. I told the girls this is the first team that can make history. The first team, there's never going to be the first team to play in the ACC again. And so for me, it's like doing that home game on Thursday and Sunday to be able to do that against Stanford and Cal, really 2 really good teams out of the Pac-12 that are Stanford has that, they have that history.
Yeah.
We've played Cal the last couple of years I've been here. We beat them the last 2 years, but they're really good, a different team this season. So we're confident. Our girls have a little chip on our shoulders, They have something to prove, and they want to prove something and show it to the world and to everybody on the ACC network on Thursday.
We've talked a lot about Jessica Peterson. She's first in the ACC in rebounds per game, in total rebounds, tied for first with 7 double-doubles. You mentioned it. She missed the bulk of last season with injury. Is this what you thought you were getting when she transferred here a few years ago from Fresno State?
Yeah, I mean, we wanted her to be an important and vital part of our offense and inside the paint and dominating the paint. And she's really, seriously grown spiritually, mentally, physically. Everything in her game is just, she's thriving. And I'm so happy for her and her growth, and her love for the game has come back where it's 10 times fold. She's just she's doing amazing. I'm excited for her growth and how she'll be challenged in the ACC and what she can prove to people that she can do.
Missing a year with injury can be tough for a young lady at that point.
Yeah, for any person. We had Ella out last season, also. So to be able to come back and achieve and make this a statement year, to prove people wrong, to know and prove to herself that she belongs. it's really great, and I'm happy for her.
And then you got Nia Robertson, as I mentioned, 5 games, 20-plus, double digits in every game. She is from Fort Worth, went to Boswell High School. Do you think she's seeing more comfort playing here with family in the stands? I know they were there for her 1,000th point the other night.
Yeah, they're here every game. I think it's a comfortability, but it's also like it's a fit. It's a fit. It's a style of play. It's a relationship that she has with her head coach, and that I told her that I wanted to have with her, and she has that, and she feels comfortable, and I can challenge her, and I can coach her hard, and so she takes that, you know what I mean? And so I'm happy for Nia. I'm happy she's here, and she's a Mustang, and we have 2 years with her because she's going to be able to make everybody around her better.
You mentioned it, Stanford coming in here on Thursday night to start up the bulk of the ACC, scheduled the first ACC home game.
Yeah.
Obviously huge. 7 o'clock on Thursday night. It's on the ACC network. John Hendry will have the radio call on the SMU app. They're 8-4 on the year. They lost 3 of their last 4, but that did include number 6 LSU, number 20 Cal that they played. Obviously, this is a huge change for the Cardinal this year with the retirement of their legendary coach, Tara Vanderveer. She's one of those who's, for the last 4 decades, basically has set the standard, hasn't she, for women's college basketball?
Yeah, for sure. And Stanford is going to be Stanford. They have great players. Actually, they make about 9 threes a game, 3rd or 4th in the country in three-point percentage. So we're going to have our handful defending the three-point line. But I think we also bring some things to the table that we can offset their offense and their defense. And so I'm excited about how our girls step up to the challenge.
Her longtime assistant, Kate Pay, has taken over.
Great coach.
Is there much different, or is she just kind of continuing on?
No, I think she's been under her for all the years, and so she's kind of following what she does. But I'm sure Kate has her own niche and her own thing she's going to want to do and bring to the table, her own recruiting style. It's a new day, a new age of recruiting, a new day and age of coaching, and so she's a great coach too, also. And yeah, they've lost their last 3 or 4, so I know they're going to be ready and focused and wanting to come in here on the road. But I think we play really well at home, and we need the crowd to come out to support us and cheering us on because we need to have that 6-court Moody Magic, the 6-man advantage.
They lost their top 3 scorers from last year. 1 transferred to USC, 2 others were seniors. And they don't get a lot of transfers in at Stanford. It doesn't kind of work that way for them. This is kind of having to retool from within, isn't it? For them?
Yeah, for sure. But they got a couple freshmen. They got a couple transfers, actually. They got a transfer from Purdue. They got a transfer from Santa Clara that starts. So they do have a couple transfers. They did get a couple. But, again, they're still a great team. We got to respect them. But I really think that it's going to be a great battle against them. We match up really well.
And then Cal on Sunday, right?
Yes. Cal, Charmin's done an unbelievable job this year. I'm really good friends with her. That team is different than she's had. The best team she's had since she's been there. They can shoot the ball very well. They shoot 35 to 43s a game. They score the ball. They can defend. So I'm excited again about that matchup, but we're worrying about Stanford right now.
All right, well, it is 7 o'clock Thursday night. Stanford coming to Moody Coliseum. Toyelle, looking forward to that. We'll see you again in 2 weeks on our next show here, okay?
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Pony
Toyelle
up.
Wilson, SMU women's basketball coach, joining us here on Hilltop Hoops. And we'll have men's coach Andy Enfield coming up next. Welcome back here to Hilltop Hoops on Monday nights, 7 o'clock here at Ozona Grill and Bar. You want to support your favorite Stangs? Join SMU's official NIL partner, the Boulevard Collective. The Boulevard leverages NIL and the DFW community to develop excellence and leadership capabilities in SMU student athletes while supporting the missions of SMU and the SMU Athletic Department. Visit boulevardcollective.com to join and learn more. Welcome up to the stage now, head coach of the SMU men's basketball team, Andy Enfield. How are you?
Doing very well, thank you. Thank you.
Doing really well after winning again yesterday. Now up to 11-2 on the year after a 98-82 win over Longwood. And since we last were here for the show, also another conference win, 103-77 at Boston College back on the 21st. Yesterday's game may have been more work than I think some people on the outside may have expected. Longwood's not a brand name, but Longwood's got some pretty good players. They've about a 20-win seasons they put together, too, in the last few years.
They won 20-plus games last couple of years, went to the NCAA tournament last season. They were 11-3 for a reason. They're a very good basketball team.
Yeah, they definitely had it at a two-point game at half. How critical was it for your guys to hit those two quick threes that forced a quick timeout to start the second half?
Well, it's important for us to get defensive stops. We didn't play the level of defense we had been playing for the last 4 or 5 weeks in the first half against Longwood. Way too many shots at the rim. We guarded the three-point line, but we just did not have it. We'll call it a Christmas hangover. We only practiced 2 days, had a lot of flight delays getting in on the 26th because of the thunderstorms here in Dallas. So our guys just they stepped it up in the second half, defending at a much higher level.
How much did that frustrate you? You have been harping a lot on defense. Your staff, too, when I talked to them, harping a lot on defense, and you were seeing the strides you wanted. How much does that drive you nuts when you have a half like that?
Well, it happens. This game is very streaky at times. We're a streaky team, on both sides of the basketball. So we had 20 turnovers offensively. It's the most by far this season. So we still scored 98 points with 20 turnovers. So that means we can score the basketball.
Yeah, and the second half was your ninth half of 50-plus already this season. Despite the turnovers, how well are the guys clicking on the offensive end for you right now?
Well, we're leading the league in scoring at 87-plus points per game. And when you can do that, you'll be in most games because defensively, defense usually wins games for you, but you have to be able to go through those. When the other team scores the ball, you have to stay with them and score as well. And we've been able to do that here in the last month and a half.
How much of your offense is set stuff? How much of it is transition or kind of the guys reacting off the flow of transition in the game?
Well, I think you saw it last night in the second half. We were able to get some stops, deflection steals, defensive rebounds. We're leading the league in field goal percentage after a miss, which is key because we have to make the other team miss shots to really be as successful as we want to be. And it's hard if you take the ball out of bounds most of the game, meaning they're scoring. It slows your transition down significantly. And we can still score quickly after a made basket, but it's much easier when you get deflection, steals, and rebounds.
Yeah, they get to set their defense a little more, too, when you take it out of the basket. You are 11th, by the way, nationally in points, and first, as you mentioned, in the ACC. Boopy Miller, obviously a big part of it, your leading scorer. Had a little bump in the road earlier this month with 3 straight single-digit scoring games. Now he had 18 and then a season-best 24 yesterday afternoon. Did he need a couple of games like that to maybe clear his mind?
Well, Boopy's a heck of a player. When he makes the right decisions, he shoots a higher percentage. He gets other guys involved. I think he had 7 assists. He leads us in assists. So he just has to keep improving as a player. That decision-making is crucial, especially at the lead guard spot.
I know when he was struggling with his shot, he's not a guy you can tell to defer a whole lot, right?
Well, if you're not making shots, there's 4 other guys in the court that can make a shot. So sometimes we recommend just passing the ball instead of shooting. And
he does, obviously, as you said, leading you in assist. What's next in the development for his game, do you think?
Well, he's become a better defender. He's 5'11". He's very fast. He's very strong. But 5'11" in our sport is not an overly big guard, and so other guys will try to take him inside or post him up and also shoot over him. So he's been a lot more aggressive, getting over ball screens and really staying in front of players in the opposing team.
Yesterday, Johan Traore, season-high 20 points and 11 rebounds. He had 11 points, I think, in about 5 minutes maybe. I thought maybe the stat monitor was wrong when I looked down. He got it going quickly for you yesterday afternoon.
We had 2 really good days of practice. We were disappointed in his rebounding, especially in the Boston College game and some of the games preceding that. He made an effort yesterday to rebound out of his area. He was terrific, just outstanding. 11 rebounds, I think, is a career high, and he was aggressive at 20 points. I thought he played a great game.
Have you had to challenge him a little bit at some times? Because he's had a few games where he's had limited minutes, I know, because some of his performance was down.
Well, it's pretty simple. If you do enough things to make it hard to take you out, you usually play more minutes.
It is, huh?
And that's true for all our guys. So when you say we just don't point out Johan, but if he's rebounding at the level he was yesterday and scoring the ball at an efficient level, it's hard to take him out.
And you got other bigs, too. You definitely have plenty of bigs to play. One of them, Samet Yigitolu, 20 minutes yesterday, only 3 points, had 8 rebounds, though, but 4 fouls again. And this on the heels of being limited to 7 minutes with foul trouble in the Boston College game. Is there something he needs to do differently in defending? Has he just gotten bad whistle, or has he got a few things he needs to do different defensively to stay on the floor?
Well, I think the 2 different games. Boston College, he was 2 quick fouls the first minute and a half, and that hurt him. And we still scored 103 points, and he didn't score 1. So that shows you the depth of our team offensively. And he came back in, picked his 3rd foul, went up in his 4th foul. So he didn't get a lot of chances on offense just because he didn't play a lot. The Longwood game, he picked up a couple quick fouls, but they were double teaming him every time he touched the ball, and he's such a good passer, so unselfish. So he didn't have field goal attempts, but he was fouled a few times. We got to the foul line, but the attention that he draws and the passing ability for someone that size is really impressive, and he helped us a lot yesterday.
Yeah, he also has surprising athletic ability. He doesn't look like a 7'2" guy, does he, when he runs? I mean, other than how tall he is, but the way he moves, it's like a guy a bit smaller, isn't it?
Well, he looks 7'2" to me when I look at him, especially when I stand next to him. But he's very it's very hard to find players at that size that have such good hands and good feet.
Yeah.
And he has not dropped a pass once this year in practice or the games where a guy is throwing the ball. He catches everything. And he'll catch it on the move and then be able to control his body and make the right decisions, and it's very impressive.
He's not afraid to express emotion at times. Are you guys trying to channel some of that a little bit?
Well, when it hurts him, because in Boston College he picked up a flagrant foul, and now that was a bad call. Mm-hmm. He was running down the court, and the player for BC stepped over 4 feet to try to get in his way, and there was a collision, and it should have been a double foul is fine, but it definitely was not a flagrant foul. And the fact the other guy initiated the whole thing. But I think he just has to understand that there's going to be ebbs and flows in a college basketball game, and your emotions have to stay in check sometimes and just keep playing.
A little different maybe for him here than it was in Turkey?
I don't know. I haven't been to Istanbul yet, but from what they say.
Last 2 games, your rebound numbers have been a little bit lower. I think it's largely because you haven't got many offensive rebounds, and I think that's largely because you guys have shot over 60%, 2 in a row. That's hard to do.
Yeah, we had 8 offensive rebounds. We only missed 19 shots yesterday, so we rebounded almost half our misses. But the offensive rebounding, Boston College, I think we shot 64% from the field, which our guys did a good job.
That's hard to do. How many times have you ever seen a team shoot better than 60 back-to-back?
It's been a while.
And shoot well from 3, too. I think you were 10 of 20 yesterday, so obviously terrific shooting night there. Let's look up a little more at that Boston College game. It was 103-77, your 4th 100-point game of the season, another 50-point half, 56 in the second. What allowed your guys, you think, to really go hammer down and put that away down the stretch on that game?
Well, that was the Jarrell Colbert game. He came in and gave us tremendous energy. He was Smet in foul trouble. He played 22 minutes, and he just changed the game defensively with his activity, especially in the ball screens, jumping out and hard hedging, and then his activity offensively. He had 13 points and 6 rebounds. So he gave us a big jolt with his energy, and our guys fed off that, and we were able to get out in transition, and we really scored the ball at a high level for about an 8 or 9 minute period in transition. B.J.
Edwards had 16 against Boston College, his 9th double-digit scoring game of the year. I don't know if you know this. He's already scored 10 more points than he did all of last season.
I did not know that.
In 13 games this year. How bright is his future for you in this system you have?
Well, he's one of the most improved guys in our league, and he's a starter now in the ACC, and he's performing he's our best defender at the guard spot, and he rebounds for his position, and now he's scoring the ball as well. Yeah,
and even with 6 points yesterday, those other things he does, I thought he was a really big factor, wasn't he, yesterday in the game?
Yeah, he's a factor every game.
Yeah. And ACC wins are great. ACC road wins got to be sweeter for you to win the first one of those as well.
Yeah, I thought that was big for our guys. Right before Christmas, it's always nice to sit there at Christmas dinner after a win. Like the women's team had a big win right before Christmas, a couple good wins. So it's always nice to sit back and enjoy a glass of wine after a couple wins.
And it's nice to be tied with Duke and Clemson for first place, isn't it, at 2-0?
That's nice, too.
It is. We're going to talk about Duke here in a few moments because, of course, they will be here on Saturday afternoon. Our segment with Coach Infield each week is brought to you by the SMU Cox School of Business. Long-term career success begins at the SMU Cox School of Business with the number 27 full-time MBA in the nation. Our commitment to your success, new state-of-the-art facilities, and welcoming national network combined to help open doors here in Dallas and beyond. Learn more at smu.edu/cox/Pony Express. Quick reminder, too, we will not have the Hilltop Hoop Show next Monday night because we're going to be at North Carolina already for a Tuesday night game. So our next show is going to come up on Monday, January 13th here at Ozona and on the SMU Mustangs Facebook page. Well, your non-conference portion over now, 9-2 in the non-conference games, of course 11-2 overall. What have you learned about this team through the first more than third of a season?
Well, the team has really improved. The first game, very first possession, Matt Cross was injured, hurt his back, and so that hurt him, hurt our team. And then he barely came back for we lost a road game at Butler early on. He had only practiced one day, and then Sumet was not eligible. So since that first couple weeks where defensively we weren't very good, and then offensively we're trying to find our way, we've improved.
Did the tournament out there in California help your guys a lot, spending more time together, too, on the road like that?
Well, you can say yes, but I don't know how much time they spend at those. I played tennis every morning. I played golf one day, and so I don't know what the heck our players did, but I had fun. I had a good time.
I hung out at the pool. It was beautiful out there. So
it was good.
It was definitely worth
it. It was a great trip. Anytime you have bonding like that with the team, the staff, you're together so much throughout the season. It's nice. That was a 4.5-day event in great weather in Palm Springs. We stayed at La Quinta Resort. The tournament was very well run, and then we had good teams. But it helped our team because we had some adversity in that Cal Baptist game where we had a big halftime lead. They came back. We went to buzzer, and then we played really well in the second half against Washington State. And I think that was the first couple games where we saw big improvement, but our team had gone through some adversity together. When you bring in 7 transfers, 3 freshmen, and a new coaching staff, and no one knows each other, you really don't know what you're going to have. It's hard to improve until you go through that adversity. And I thought the California trip really helped our team establish how are we going to react, especially in the second half late in those games. And it certainly helped us against LSU as well.
What is the one thing you point out that your guys are doing the best consistently game after game to lead to wins?
Well, we're scoring the ball. And
that's simple, isn't it?
Yeah, we're shooting a high percentage, almost 50% from the field and 39% from the three-point line. So we score the ball at a pretty high level right now. And when we have 19 assists, like 14 in the second half last night, we're pretty good. If we're selfish and we don't hit the open man, we had 5 assists in the first half last night. That was not good enough. And our guys have shown their ability to come out in the second half and learn from their mistakes in the first half.
One thing they're doing consistently, too, is rebounding. 19th in the nation in rebound margin, leading the ACC in that. We talked about it with Toyelle and her team, too. How much of that is skill? How much of that is just hard work to get that rebounding done?
Well, I think it's both. You saw Johan go out of his area 4 or 5 times last night and have 11 rebounds. He didn't do that the last 4 or 5 games. Matt Cross goes out of his area every possession. He will – the shot will go up and he'll leave. He'll be on the left side of the court and rebound it 20 feet to the right side of the rim, and some of the things he does is really amazing. So we showed our team that. Now Johan did it last night. So that can be rebounding is a skill usually that translates to different levels in different leagues, and if you can rebound, you can usually do it at the higher levels. And so some of our guys that have transferred from other schools have that capability, and you can improve.
How much time did your guys get off over the holiday break here?
4.5 days. It was great.
Yeah. Did they come back a little rusty or ready to roll here?
No, they're always rusty. Yeah. The first practice the night of the 26th. Plus we had all those thunderstorms. So some of our staff and players they were rerouted and canceled, and so we had about, I'd say, 2/3 of our team for that practice on the 26th, and we practiced the 27th, 28th with a full roster.
All right, well, next up, it's this Saturday with Duke, 1:15 tip at Moody Coliseum. It's on the CW. Scott Garner and I will have it on the SMU app and the Varsity app. Blue Devils number 4 in the AP poll this week at 10-2. Only losses have been to now number 10 Kentucky and number 7 Kansas, so I'd say they've been getting it done, obviously, here in the first 12 games.
No, they're very talented.
Obviously, their headliner is their freshman Cooper Flagg, a 6'9". I guess he's a guard. I guess he's a forward. I guess he can play wherever he wants. leads them in scoring and rebounding, multiple-time freshman of the week already in the ACC, as well as player of the week. Tell us about him and what the challenge is to slow him down.
Well, he does a lot of things that you just mentioned. He leads their team in about 6 or 7 categories. So we understand, but Duke is not. It's not Cooper Flag. It's Duke as a team.
Sure.
And they have 9 or 10 other really good players. So we'll try to come up with a game plan to try to make it as hard as they can to score the ball on us as possible.
Yeah, they have other freshmen, too, that do it, too, especially Con Knippel, 12 points a game. Good outside, tremendous free throw shooter, obviously a big problem to face on Saturday.
Yeah, they're very balanced. You looked at no one average. Cooper's at 16, and the other guys are 12, 11, 10, 9 points a game, so they're balanced like we are. So you just can't focus on one guy. You have to guard their whole team.
How tough of a spot do you think this was for John Shire? I know he'd been there, obviously, but taking over in 22 from a legend, how hard is that, you think, to take over from an absolute legend like Coach K?
Well, Coach K, Hall of Fame coach, and it's nice if John's a terrific young coach. He played there, so he knows the system and knows the university well. And but they have a significant advantage over most programs around the country. When you're a blue blood in our sport, you usually walk into a room and you kind of pick who you recruit. And with Kansas and Kentucky and the UCLAs of the world and North Carolina. So those teams have built-in advantages that most of the universities around the country don't have. So when you say, it's unusual for a first head coaching job to be at that level or that type of program. You usually have to go somewhere else. But he was in a unique spot where he was so well respected and did such a great job as an assistant coach for Coach K. And he's been a great head coach for a few years now. So very impressed with John. He's a really good guy, really good coach, and they obviously have an outstanding program.
Obviously, fans are abuzz getting ready for Saturday's game. What about the players?
We'll find out. I mean, if you can't get ready for this game, we're sold-out arena, and at Moody at a home game, you have to try to hold home court advantage.
And then I mentioned we're not doing the show next week because we'll be at North Carolina for a Tuesday night game. I know you've been there, obviously, when you coached Florida State, right?
Yeah, I've been to the Dean Dome many times.
Yeah, tell us about that facility and how amazing that is with the atmosphere they have at North Carolina.
Well, it's a very big arena, and they packed a place, and they're one of those schools I just mentioned. So great players and a great coaching staff. It'll be a lot of fun.
Their 8-5 record's pretty deceiving, isn't it?
I don't know. I haven't really looked at them. We're focused on Duke right now, so I know Carolina has 1 or 2 games before us, and Duke plays tomorrow against Virginia Tech. So we try to stay very focused on our next game, just like I didn't even look at Duke until today because we were focused on Longwood. Well,
I can tell you North Carolina has lost 4 of their 5 to top 10 teams, so they've been pretty good this year, I think, too. So, all right, well, it is Saturday, 1:15 tip time on the CW and at Moody Coliseum for SMU and Duke. And we've talked about this a lot during the football season. I think we're going to keep talking about it the basketball season. This is a big challenge, but this is what we wanted, right?
This is what we signed up for. So
absolutely,
we come and have a battle for first place in the ACC. It's a young season. We got a long way to go, but it's obviously a big game for everybody.
Absolutely. All right, Andy, look forward to it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Andy Enfield joining us here on Hilltop Hoops. And again, no show next Monday night. We'll see you back here in 2 weeks for the next edition of Hilltop Hoops.
This has been the Hilltop Hoops Show with head coaches Andy Enfield and Toy L. Wilson. Presented by the SMU Cox School of Business and broadcasted live from Ozona Grill and Bar. The proceeding has been a presentation by the Mustang Sports Network from Learfield.